Sakto, maaraw, no?
Wa sakto madilim dito, bro.
Sakto, madilim akin na maaraw. Para alam ng mga guests. Alright. Welcome back, everyone. This is Cali Manila Podcast, Tsismis at Recuerdos, the podcast. Or cut,
Episode.
Sorry. Mali pala.
Huh?
Welcome, everyone. This is Cali Manila Chronicles, Tsismis at Recuerdos, the podcast.
That's okay. That's okay, bro. We can do it. That's part of this. That's why we love to do this podcast. And then I go
Yes.
for this is episode 12.
Yun. Sorry, it's been a while. It's like we took almost a whole month of break. Sean got his wisdom teeth taken out, so
Yeah.
we're
Wow.
good. We're good.
We're good. We're really good. Yeah, I mean, we could start off right away because there's a lot of topics that I wanted to share. I mean,
Yes.
let me start off right away with the passing of Chef Margarita Forés. Uh, so, Chef, if you know Chibo, she founded Chibo,
Mhm.
and it's really good restaurant here. And she has also different restaurants that are really known in the culinary local scene. So, um, she's really known for elevating a twist of fusion of like Filipino Italian cuisine ever since. So I do love eating in Chibo. So I do share common taste of Italian and Filipino twist. And I really love Chibo ever since. So she already introduced it globally ever since
Mhm.
the Filipino cuisine. She's been sharing it in the past few decades. I mean, I know right now because probably social media storm in terms of then people now trying to document everything and sharing it to everybody. But before, she is one of the first to share it globally. So kudos to her, and I mean, rest in peace.
Mhm.
Uh, and we're forever thankful for her contributions. And I I love to go back and Chibo reminisce at some of and they've been really good ever since. I don't see a downside of their in terms of their service, food quality, and
Mhm.
even their presence here. I mean, locally.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's a posh she style, like because it's only on the malls and there's no like separate uh places for them. But uh I do think she's situated in those places because it's a communal thing. It's a communal thing. So
Mhm.
everyone is excited about having the Shibo. It's really the pasta. It's amazing, and
Mhm.
I mean it's not everyone for taste, but once you explore food, you know why she's serving that. So
Mhm.
thank you, Chef Margarita.
I love that. And yeah, I was reading up on Chef Margarita because I got to try Chibo as well the last time I came to visit. For our listeners who don't know about Margarita Forés and Chibo, so Chef Margarita Forés uh, is from the Philippines, and uh, she had a very popular Italian chain called Cibo. It's a restaurant chain that's mostly in malls, so it's like
Yes.
a nice. It was really cool for me to see because it was a nice like introduction into uh, good Italian food, but very casual. Like the places where they would have Cibo is just in the middle of the mall. It's like an
Stalls.
open
Yeah.
space, very
Yes.
yeah, very much like just like a welcoming, casual space for people to experience good Italian food. And yeah, reading about her life, she was an expert in Italian cuisine. But the great part about it was she was doing Italian cuisine with the Filipino twist. So uh, tailored to the Filipino palate, uh, allowing Italian cuisine to morph into something that can be enjoyed by Filipinos. Namely, like Filipinos love sweeter stuff. So, uh, like if you're familiar with Italian food, it tends to be more on the sour side. This one's tailored to the Filipino palate. I also saw here she was named Asia's best female chef in 2016. That's amazing. Like for someone
Yeah.
to be recognized uh, that's amazing. The other things that I see here, so she had other dining concepts like Luso and Grace Park.
Yeah.
Uh, Lots of amazing recognitions. She's just so passionate. I also
Yes.
remember watching some of her YouTube content. I know in her later years, she transitioned to visiting different places on her YouTube channel and continuing to talk about Filipino food. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just so much
And she
passion.
she's been an inspiration for, I mean, the current chefs that are very popular. She's mentoring them, making sure the passion is there, and the content food creators here are also, she's in touch with them.
Hmm.
So that's we can see that the humbleness coming from her is pretty special. So
Yes.
I I I understand uh the sadness, but I do see also the inspiration coming from her as truly special indeed in the food scene here in Manila. But I mean, it's transitioning to that. Before before she passed, there is another famous person here that visited.
Mm.
If I know everyone watched MasterChef,
Ah,
uh,
yes.
Hell's Kitchen, and lots of his restaurants around the globe. And because he opened his first restaurant in Manila last year, the Gordon Ramsay Bar and Grill uh, in Resorts World, Manila. And he visited before, yeah, he visited, and everyone loved his presence coming here. Probably
Yes.
because we have Netflix, we have social media, we want to watch entertainment with food, and I would say he loved it. He loved the Filipino audience in terms of and he tasted lots of our foods. Even though I don't know if you follow Lumpia Queen,
Yeah. 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 Olympia Queen, what's her name? Abby.
Abby. Yeah,
Abby.
Abby Marquez is really famous on incorporating lumpia in different styles of food, whether it's our local cuisine or ulam, current famous ulams, but at the same time, she's also trying to incorporate others as well,
Hmm.
like and even desserts. So
Yes.
if Jollibee has a peach mango pie, is it also good in a lumpia? So she'll gonna try it. So for she presented a lumpia beef Wellington, and
Wow.
Gord Gordon loved it. Oh, Gordon loved it, and I'm telling. I hope she could watch this in the future, and if you could patent it for some reason for that, if Gordon puts it on his menu, like you could put like Abby's lumpia beef Wellington. That would be really good. You could earn so much from it, and it's because of her creativity, and because she's one of the first doing it. I
Yeah.
know it's an Asian thing to do spring rolls, but it's lumpia is, I would say, a different thing, different level.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Um, for those who don't know what a beef Wellington is, so I don't know if Chef Gordon Ramsay was the one who popularized this. I mean,
I
it's a
would say
British
yes.
dish.
I would say
Probably,
yes.
right? Because I don't think I knew about beef Wellingtons
You
until
watched.
he Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. Like I think every Hell's Kitchen or every restaurant that Chef Gordon Ramsay has, pretty it has to have beef Wellington on the menu. Because um, if you guys look up beef Wellington, the way that it's made, it just takes so much work. It's this beef tenderloin that's coated in mushroom and then wrapped it. And I think there's foie gras and prosciutto as well. And then you cover it in puff pastry. It looks amazing. It looks like a, I don't know, it looks like a sandwich already,
Yeah.
with a giant piece of steak in there. But on his shows, every contestant is tested on how you cook a beef Wellington because it's just so difficult to do. Um, but for Chef Abby to do it into Olympia and Amaze
Wow.
Gordon, I mean that's just that again. It's we're continuing to bridge different cultures, the cuisine of different cultures, kind of like Chef Margarita Forés, right? Like taking something that's beloved by a different culture and then fusing it into something that can be loved by Filipinos as well. I'm excited to try that beef Wellington lumpia sometime in the near future. Right?
And I hope it could be included on the Gordon Ramsay Bar and Grill menu moving
Mm,
forward. And
yeah,
I hope they provide contributions coming from Abby because that is something remarkable. It is like, I don't know if you've watched or tried uh, David Chang's restaurant.
mm-hmm. Yes,
So they have a dessert. So do you know the chef of the dessert place that is also in MasterChef?
Christina Tosi.
Yes, Chef Tozy is. I'm a really big fan of her, and just giving out on the the comfort zone because she loves doing desserts, and
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
just to think of it, uh, the invention of cereals, and then you put milk, and then you soak it, and have a combination of cereal milk.
Yes, yes,
It's almost the same thing with lumpia from Abby's side. So it's almost the same idea on incorporating it and making sure you patent it somehow in some way, and make sure you go from there. And I do love the inventions of making new ideas and making it a staple. So
yeah,
I hope it's like the sushi, like
yeah,
it becomes like maki, it becomes like a different types of sushi, and then I hope we could be on that side of lumpia as well.
yes. I love that you talk about that and how we're talking about this too, because a couple of weeks ago I think it was on Instagram that I was watching this reel about how did how did uh like American food come about. So example, right? Uh like right now we're talking about how we're fusing we're fusing different types of food to fit the Filipino palate. Um, well, the one I was reading was how did American food come about? And it was a collection uh, of immigrants adapting to food that was available in the United States. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, example. Are you familiar with like corned beef stew? Like I know in the Philippines, sa atin yung corned beef stew yung tad-tad na. It's like the ones in
Yes.
the can. But the ones that you see like in a broth, like the
Mm-hmm.
corned beef, like St. Patrick's stew. There's
Mm,
like a
yeah.
giant
Yeah.
piece of brisket, may
Yeah.
cabbage, parang tinola almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
corned beef. Well, I learned that in Ireland they don't even use corned beef brisket. It
Oh.
was they use ham. But when the Irish moved to the United States, they were typically sourcing their meats from Jewish
Mm-hmm.
delis.
Yeah.
And because Jewish delis didn't carry ham and they carried only beef, they started using beef brisket So
Mm.
the
And then
new,
that's the corned beef come up.
yeah, that's the corned beef hash that, or the corned beef stew that we now know. Another interesting example is how how like Chinese food came about. Like a lot of the uh like the food that we serve at Panda Express, it's a combination of different things that are available. Like
Yes.
if you go to other places, if you go to China, you probably wouldn't be getting the foods that, like, orange chicken is a
Yeah.
completely American dish. There's no such thing
Yes.
as orange chicken, but it's the flavors that they know about balancing sweet and sour and using what's available as a citrus, so like
Yeah.
oranges and yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that because you cannot get a calamansi in the US. So they're trying to use other things. It's the
Yes.
same with the chile on the chilies. So they're trying to incorporate the Mexican chilies in that because that's the nearest. That's the you cannot bring anything coming from Philippines in terms of like a plant base because it will be barred from customs. So in terms of agriculture aspect, but that's why probably it will be adjusted. It will be adjusted in terms of when you go in and then you adjust and then you'll source from different food ingredients around it, and that's how it goes coming from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. One other one that was interesting that I saw, uh, galbi. So you know how I didn't know this, but you know how Korean galbi, diba? It's the
Mm-hmm.
short ribs.
Yeah.
What I learned was that the original cut of, so you know how galbi, it has diba, strip ng rib, and then
Yes.
typically
There's a bone.
there's the bone, and then you
Yeah.
see the bone is cut like right where the bone is. You can see the marrow,
Yes.
diba?
Yes.
Well, what I learned was the original style of that cut was actually along the bone. So you get
Yeah.
a giant piece of the bone and then not as much meat. But in the States, they call it LA Galbi
Yeah.
because the cuts that they were using are actually what the Mexican
Mm-hmm.
community uses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Because
this
that's the one only
merging.
thing that they can source of.
Yeah. So it became a combination of what's available in the Mexican community in the groceries, and then the Koreans using it for their LA Galbi. So it's
Yeah.
cool, man. It's so many different things. I want to dive deeper into all this, but I saw one of the things that you pointed out was at the Chase Center in where
Yeah.
the Golden State Warriors play. They're opening up a Filipino concept in the
Yes.
stadium. Talk more a little bit about that. What was what's
Well,
that concept?
that is Senor Sisig. It's a food truck before. I believe if there's still a food truck, they still
Yeah.
have a separate space outside Chase Center now. Uh, I probably the Golden State Warrior fans, they know. I mean, the basketball team itself, the organization, know there's a big Filipino community
Yeah.
in it, and it's the right time because probably Sisig is coming big,
Hmm.
and they've known it for a couple of years now, and it's making waves in terms
Yeah.
of food scene. People love sisig, uh, and that aside from Jollibee, aside from the barbecue and the rice noodles for palabok or the halo halo, that's the one of the things that they're looking aside from adobo is sisig.
Yeah. 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 It's awesome too. So for Senior CC, right, they do so mashup again. This one's a Mexican dish, which is a burrito. And then they add sisig, which is Filipino, to it. So it's a mashup of two different cultures coming
Yeah,
together again. Kind of the
yeah,
same way as Roy Choi, who
yeah.
popularized kogi
Kogi,
before,
yeah.
which
The, the
is
one the one
Korean.
I'm
Yeah.
amazed with up to this time. I still binge watch the chef from Netflix and how he does it. Like he uses the blender
Mm-hmm.
for all of the ingredients are there, and then he just blends it because he is working on a food truck. He wants to make it fast. He wants to
Mm-hmm.
prepare it fast. So why not just blend it all, everything, and then put it on the meat for marination or for just cooking right away. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
that's his powerful tool. So
Which
on
show are you
doing
watching? Which show is
chef
this? Chef.
chef.
Okay. I see, I
So
see.
I know if you guys on our audience watched Iron Man, uh, the assistant of
Mm-hmm.
uh, Tony Stark um, is one of the directors of the movie as well. And then I know if you've known him on the Star Wars, he also produced Star Wars, and he had a movie uh, for which is Chef. Uh, it is a I mean the actor is John Favreau,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, he had this story of he is a very like Michelin star chef, and then he fucked up. Sorry for the word. He got lost, and then he wanted to do on his own terms, and he wanted to start a food truck, and
Mm-hmm.
from that point moves forward. So it's almost a similar story of Roy Choi because Roy Choi is also a known chef from a uh, big hotel uh chain, and then
Yeah.
from that he goes from there and then go for a food truck, and apparently the food truck scene and then Twitter, social media, right timing, it booms. So that's how it goes, and they try to incorporate that story on Chef.
Yeah.
And after that, Chef movie, he had another series with him,
Mm-hmm.
with John and Roy cooking, just cooking.
Mm. Got it.
So
Wow. Yeah.
so if I suggest you guys watch it, our audience watch it, and
Yeah.
you'll be amazed on John cooking and Roy doing different techniques. David Chang is one of the guests on some.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you mentioned LA Galbi. Roy mentioned that as well. Why is
Yeah.
it LA Galbi? Why is it that cut? And he is also sharing different secrets from the menu, and he's really open in it. And John said, "Oh, I thought it's a secret because but you keep on changing it because
Yeah.
from Roy's perspective, it's a matter of feeling."
Yes.
So yeah, I'm amazed with his culinary expectation and aspirations and his vision.
Yeah.
Making simple food, but the food is amazing. That's the one that I'm looking at as well. Like if you put a fries, he'll make it a very good fries, something like that.
Yeah. 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 I know we can talk about this longer. I know this is there's always this contention about what is traditional versus what is a what is an homage to
Mm-hmm.
like the culture, right? Um, I know for the Filipino food scene here in the States, there's always this conversation about like, oh, I don't want to eat uh, that because my grandma or my mom can do it better. There's this like gatekeeping of that is not my this Filipino food is not my family's way of making Filipino food. Same thing like diba, adobo na lang. Everyone has different ways of making adobo, and probably even in the Philippines for sure. There's so many different types of
Yeah.
adobo depending on the region, and so to say that one adobo is the the adobo for the entire nation, that speaks for the entire nation is crazy. It's hard to
Yeah,
say that.
I think
But
it's very open, bro. It's very open right now. I do think right now the challenge of gatekeeping is not just on how we can express, just being transparent with everybody.
yeah,
Why I'm saying transparent? Because Filipinos love to eat, love to explore food,
yeah,
and uh, if they said that, oh, my mom's adobo is the best, I don't want to share it to somewhere else, but they keep on sharing that because if there is a potluck, there's the mom's adobo is there, and
yeah,
probably her mom is sharing it to everybody. So there's no secret into that. It's
yeah,
just it's that transparency, sharing it to everybody. If you're the daughter, if you're the son, and you're just saying that you're just being the pride, the love,
yeah.
but 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 to be fair, it's just that love with affection.
Yeah. No, I understand that, right? There's a pride to making sure that the dish is done properly. I think there's also a pride in seeing the dish evolve with the same care and love that the dish was created. So like again, adobo. Uh, I think there can be different variations of adobo based on as long as you follow the key elements of what adobo is. There's an element of sour, there's an element of saltiness in there, and that there's care for the specific ingredients and that you're able to call it out. I think what makes adobo just such a beloved dish is that it captures the different elements of how the Philippines has changed
Yeah,
over the years. There's a Chinese
definitely.
influenced one, there's a Spanish influence one, but uh, and then the traditional or the one pre-colonization was adobong puti, which never had soy sauce. Which we can go deeper into this. I think we can save it for a different episode, and then
Yes, definitely.
yeah, yeah.
But I know I have to talk about this, bro, and I know because Philippines is a Lakers nation, and I know you are a true
Mm,
Laker,
yes.
but I know I am a Celtic. Uh,
Oh yeah, I
but
gotta rep
yeah,
Lakers.
represent Lakers represent. But yeah, it's truly astonishing from what happened in the past few weeks. Luka is a Laker. Luka
Yes.
is a Laker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this? Is
The future is very bright. The
yeah,
future is very bright. I would say
for the Lakers
uh
to be
that
for the
that's
Lakers.
they can still get one more chip with the right team
Mm-hmm.
with LeBron and Luka. They need another one. Uh, it doesn't matter if it's a big or a guard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because they can show now that they can play complementary both. But they do need another one to push it further.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So if it's a big man, definitely that could push for points and rebounds. But if it's a guard, it's it's assists and points that they needed when the matter most.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe or another forward that could shoot the lights out every time for them. So it's pretty tricky on their side. I mean, Rob Palinga is doing his best to get that one another piece. Uh, and yeah, it's a very, 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 very uh shocking move coming from the Lakers. It's I would say apart from the Celtics getting the big three, KG, uh, Ray Allen, and because but and I mean Paul Pierce there, and then Miami Heat. coming LeBron, Dwayne,
Hmm.
and Chris Bosh. But those are off season. This is mid season.
Yeah.
This is before the trade deadline and before uh I mean if we could do it off season, that's a different thing. But
Yeah.
this is halfway of the season. That's the more shocking. I'm still in shock. It's still different, from the Nuggets Melo coming from Denver to New York.
Yeah.
Dude,
It
he's
was,
just
yeah.
25, 24, 24 years old, 25 years old.
25. Yeah, 25. Is that his peak at least in his like athleticism. Like the body typically peaks around like mid 20s, right before 30. So we basically got him at his peak. And uh I will say it was really crazy to have that trade. Like it was almost it was close to midnight when it happened for us. So here in LA, then they broke the news. I was like about to go to bed, and then they broke the news. AD and Luka have been traded for each other, and I was like, what? AD just like a couple days ago just dropped an insane game, like 30 points, 20 something rebounds. Like, dude, he was on the high. I was on a high. Like, oh man, AD just needs another person, another big, and we're good. And
Because he
then,
requested it, right? He
yeah,
requested it publicly on the media.
right. Yeah, he had that whole interview with Shams, and it was like, I was like, dude, whatever trade we go to next, it's just a big, and then we're set for a championship run. And then this happened. I'm like, what? What is this? Like, um, yeah, but it's crazy because this like trade shocked so much that it forced other teams to do crazy trades too. Like,
Yeah,
uh, like all the trades that are happening. Um, what is it? The Rosen to the Kings. Or no, the Rosen was already off season.
Zach Levine to the
Levine to the
Kings,
Kings. Fox to the
to San
Spurs.
Spurs.
All the moves. I know these ones are free agent pickups. Ben Simmons is now a Clipper, if people didn't know. Yeah, so many other things, and then just it shook the whole NBA, which is nice. This is what was needed for the whole NBA.
For
Just
the product itself.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's a beneficial for everybody. When Luka moved to Lakers, I believe
yeah,
so. Uh, I would I would think if they could get another piece for next year, they
yeah,
could get a run.
yeah,
Maybe just on the first round. For Lakers, that's my prediction.
yeah,
Uh, but because they're trying to get pieces more. But that's how Lakers does it. Uh,
yeah.
the only players that I know that they got from the draft are Kobe and Magic, and the
Mm,
rest are got from free agent signings and trades. So I mean, aside from, yeah, and then another also Jerry West, but
yeah,
that's beside the point that Lakers always get a star player. But
yeah.
that's how the brand works. So that's Lakers' number one sports team.
Yep. It's about getting that star always that draws in people. Kareem, Shaq, yeah, all of those guys. But yeah, let's talk about it. I know there's controversy swirling about this trade that like
Oh
why would
yeah.
the Mavericks trade Luka Dončić at the peak of his career? I know they were saying, oh, he's not conditioning properly. He's at his heaviest. He's 270 pounds. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's 270 pounds. But yeah, what was the controversy you were hearing about this?
Well, everyone is saying because there's the new majority owner, and the majority owner is a part of the group of the casino owner in Las Vegas,
Hmm.
and the part of the deal is because of the real estate business and the booming of casino areas in different states,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to establish a casino as well in Dallas. And probably
Mm.
the first attempt is uh, I think the Dallas, the city of Dallas is not did not approve the where the American Airlines arena is situated. I think there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple of lands near that they want to build a casino there, and they did not approve that. Uh, so that's first uh probably one of the factors. The next is this another and okay, probably can we move it in Vegas? And they don't want it because Dallas has a very big fan base.
Yeah.
And next is okay, if you don't want me to do that and you don't want me to do this as well, then this is the consequence
Yeah.
because we're going to pay this person a lot of money when he signs an extension. And Mark Cuban, now the minority owner, cannot do anything about it. So
Yeah.
that's and it's a win-win for the NBA as a product to move Luka on Lakers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a wild trade, and the controversy also kind of makes sense. So, for those that aren't too familiar about uh, Dallas and the market that it's at, so Dallas is located in Texas, and Texas is uh, known as a conservative state. It's one of those areas where conservative due to it's highly Christian or Catholic. And so a lot of the influences in that area, they were more conservative about no gambling. Uh,
Yeah,
and so for the Dallas Mavericks to be owned by a casino operator, it is such a big thing. They really want to expand and move to Vegas because Vegas is rapidly expanding its sports teams too. In the last couple years, they're building a hockey stadium now. They they have a football team. Um, I know
they
they're
have a
trying to
baseball team, right?
that's
They're
right.
they're
Yeah,
planning to build the base.
that's right. They just bought the baseball team to the Athletics, who were originally from Oakland, and then the last piece is an NBA team. So there's just so much going on. There's validity to this controversy. Um, it, it sucks that Luca is in the middle of it all, but um, yeah, let's stay posted on this, and we'll see. Uh, I know we're getting close to the end of the episode, but one thing that I wanted to talk about, since it's also at the height of the news right now, Pope Francis has been diagnosed with double pneumonia. In the past, he's had bouts of different things related to respiratory related. Because I just found this out that when he was younger, he had he had problems with his lungs, and he had to get a portion of his lungs taken out in his early 20s. So he's already been dealing with a lot of health issues, but over the last few years and months, he's been dealing with uh, a lot more severe cases. But this time seems very different, like to the point where he is preparing for um, death arrangements, which is very shocking as well, because this is going to shake the entire uh, Catholic community. Uh, I don't know how many of our listeners remember the last time there was a election of a pope. It took a while, and it's a lot of deliberations, a lot of changes to the whole church. Uh, I think for me, this is also important and shocking because I'm not ready for a change, because Pope Francis just talked about to the U.S. Catholic bishops about um, about how to address uh, the things that are happening in the current administration. particularly deportation, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you guys feel about deportation and what our listeners feel about this issue, uh, Pope Francis really comes from this like angle or perspective of human dignity first. Like there's an importance to upholding morality. There's an importance to making sure that the people that are currently living in the United States are safe, because that's what the government, this Trump administration, has been preaching that we need to deport in order to keep people safe. But there's also a level of dignity and care for what happens when a family member gets deported, and and we're tearing away families here that um, families of Americans who have already been living here, but they may have a family member that it doesn't have um, the right citizenship requirements, and so they get deported. It's sad to see. Like uh, it was really jarring for me to see yesterday. Like the White House posted about like people getting deported and sent on a plane, and they're all in chains. It's like crazy. I didn't realize that we were still doing that. Like that's
Yes, I would say outside looking in,
mhm,
and uh, the word illegal immigrants is still, I mean, no one is above the law.
mhm, mhm.
The intention gives the American people vote for them, because
Mhm.
intention is somewhat gives clarity on in terms of illegal and those who are work on their papers.
Yeah.
And I do agree with their sentiment, but to the approach, because probably from the top they want it to be done right away,
Yeah.
without proper plans, communications, and how to approach people, is uh I mean, the thought of like living the American dream and having like the TNT style is, I know it's not allowed,
Yeah.
it's unfair for people,
Mhm.
but that's why probably the approach there is from the authorities, just to make it sure that there's empathy and approaching them, rather than making them like a drug addict or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's because it's not just them, that's because they have families as well included.
Mhm.
So uh it's not wrong to ask them if they have families, and it's not, if it's okay for them to share, so that they could help, you could approach them, and it's a group thing, to go back and just make sure to fix the papers, or
Yeah.
even if it's already working the papers, just having constructive conversations, and
Yeah.
then have the proper measures working for them. Again, it's a really different world right now on
Yeah.
how fast information come in, and videos. And I just saw one from Dr. Phil. He's trying to join Chicago ICE agents,
Mhm.
just to explaining them the consequences why. It's not like, you have to go in chains, in shackles, and, just drop on your knees.
Yeah.
Trying to approach them house, and if like asking them, that this is the scenario, this is what we're gonna do, and if asking the right questions, really, it's just that probably it's the best way. And different people, different state, different law, different approach, they're saying because they're all criminals. I would say these people wanted to have a better life,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they don't probably even understand how to do the paperworks in and apply for in their government. That's why they're trying
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I mean, I understand people who already have papers and couldn't have work, and it's
Mhm.
saying that they're still unfair for them. And Yeah, it's totally understood, but it's not wrong to just have the human dignity there, because uh they're not they're forcing themselves to be here to the United States because probably uh the opportunities in their country are are not that good or great,
Yeah.
or and that's the only way for them to uh and there's a lot of things. It's a very complex one, but I do think from the message from the Pope is, I know you're doing this, but just don't do it recklessly and
Yes.
tearing families apart. That's it.
Yeah.
Uh, I know someone that, I mean, it was way back before. It's probably
Mm-hmm.
Or Bush. There's a family that uh they stayed after, so they're already TNT.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, like, oh, let's go to Niagara Falls. And one kid stayed because he wants to do assign her homework.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Niagara Falls on the New York side, they were captured. I mean, there's a random inspection of ICE
Mm-hmm.
agents, and then, like, yeah, they were deported, and the
Wow.
kid was left out on their place.
Wow.
I And there's no communication until the airport going back to Manila.
Yeah.
So that's the sad thing, because what if, like, the kid wants to go back and be with them, right?
Yeah.
To make that big sacrifice just to be left out and live by himself at the very early age
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
quite ridiculous, just to complete the program. To uh it's difficult. It's difficult because it's a family. If Filipinos, family is this is a family thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's pretty much sure it's the same thing with other nationalities as well. They're trying to the one thing that is very concerning to me is uh the level of aggressiveness on the
Yes.
authorities is back again. It's not showing discipline. I mean, it's just checking from the videos and
Mm-hmm.
sharing. But uh it's not showing fear that helps people.
Yeah.
It's making be an example of having a disciplined citizenry
Yeah.
is one thing that is uh good. And if you always tell that there is a freedom of speech, there's a second amendment, it's not going to work, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
upon yourself as a person. It's like here in Manila, it's that's why people cross roads in wrong roads, because it's the discipline within is not
Yeah.
working.
Yes. Yes.
So uh
But yeah, again, I think this is a time where we really need to be more compassionate, kind, and loving to each other. If there is anything to take out of this, politics aside, it's really living out that lesson from Jesus about loving your neighbor as yourself. And yeah, it's so important. We just need to live that out. So, anyways, I think we'll end the episode there. We have a lot more
yeah.
to talk about
uh,
in the next episode, but thank you guys again for tuning in. This is Cali Manila Chronicles, Chismis et Recuerdos, the podcast.
Signing off.
Thank you, everyone.